Okay, so the first game of the stream, it's a Rapid Shield Arena. If you're watching on Twitch, hello. A lot of people here already. If you're watching in the future on YouTube, I'll probably post this whole tournament to YouTube. This might be a very short first game. Oh no, my opponent. I just won in one move. Bobby Fischer was right. E4 best by test. That was mathematical proof. Also, if you're watching in the future on YouTube, you can come over, follow on Twitch. This is where I live stream. I might consider doing a live stream on YouTube. Because Twitch recently updated their partner contracts. So maybe that's something I'll consider doing like towards the end of the year or early next year. Okay, so we have a non-Stafford gambit. D4 is one way to prevent Stafford, and it's just a different line of the Petrov. Now there is bishop c5. It depends how brave I'm feeling. Let's play bishop c5. This is a line that is actually like really, really crazy, but white kind of has to know what they're doing. And the best move here isn't so simple for white, because I have two attackers against f2, and there's not too many like attractive ways to defend. And it's a good sign that my opponent is thinking here and not blitzing out the next move. I've played this position actually from both colors. And I will admit I've had games in the past I've lost very quickly from the black side of this position. I think the most recent game I had, my opponent played bishop e3, which is basically the only way to not lose f2. Ooh. Oh, wow. There's a different way. Knight d4. This is a new move. I will say the best move there was bishop c4. It's like the main line. There's a couple ideas that come to mind here. There's knight f2 and queen h4.
Happy holidays.
Oh yeah, happy holidays. 'Tis the season. The move I want to play here is takes. Takes queen h4. The only thing I'm not sure about is king e3. And then white is holding on to the knight. I guess I keep calculating knight c6, c3. And then something like knight takes e5. And in that position, what's happening? I'll have won 2 pawns for the piece. The king's on e3, knight's still pinned. I'll be ready to castle, play rook e8. Let's do it. This reminds me of the fried liver. It's actually very similar to fried liver, but I guess with a few differences. Fried liver is usually an opening you play as white, where you go for like the early knight g5 in combination with bishop c4, and then there's a famous trap with knight f7. But this has very similar vibes. And if white doesn't take the knight, I'll win the queen or the rook. So, okay, white is maybe feeling some fear here. Thank you, Neogen Hawk, Pancake Gremlin, Lord Hadam, the first time sub. Yeah, I think my goal is to play the whole tournament. Just over 2.5 hours. I'm not sure how many games that will translate to, but hopefully at least between 5 and 10. Ooh. Okay, so white maybe didn't want to expose the king, but I could take the rook. I could also take the knight. I think I'll take the rook. I could also play, no, queen h4 doesn't do much. Yeah, I want to keep the bishop on the board. The bishop has potential. The knight's still a target. Queen h4 is a threat here, which would be a triple attack against the pawn, king, and knight. Okay,
Hi
so white
Eric, been a
defends.
while.
Hey, welcome back, PT player. Fang Duster, also welcome back.
Rosen effect, more intense than nerves of Magnus effect. Eric plays a single move and the opponent resigns, trembling in fear that Rosen will unsheath and unleash his duck/ultimate weapon. Warm greetings from Liverpool.
Yeah, that's basically what happened last game. Opponent was too afraid to meet e4. My opponent's playing a few more moves this game, though. Also, warm greetings from St. Louis. The weather in St. Louis hasn't gotten too cold yet. It hasn't really snowed. It was in the 50s yesterday. A bit rainy today. Okay, opponent wants to checkmate me. So, considering d5, but then en passant, I'll just castle. It's funny, if takes, it resembles a Stafford, just with the pawn structure, the fact the bishop's developed, and I already went for the knight, knight g4, knight f2. Oh yeah, 50 degrees Fahrenheit, maybe I should specify. Not Celsius. That would be a little bit concerning. d5. Hey, thank you, Paf Morris. Appreciate the raid. I actually don't recognize that name. Shout out to Paf. If you're just joining, I'm streaming the Rapid Shield Arena. This is a more chill, instructive chess stream. And this is my second game, although it's my first real game. My previous game, my opponent didn't show up. I've already won the rook. White's trying to get compensation. White might be going for like bishop d3 and some kingside attack. But everything should be covered here. Oh, Paf is in third place. Oh, wow. From Germany. Yeah, I saw some people saying hello from Germany. Welcome to Detox. So I assume Paf was like streaming the games then. Okay, bishop to b5. I mean, there's a lot of approaches here. I think one approach is to try and target the pawn. Aligning with the king, maybe preparing f6. Yeah, this pawn is hanging. I'm still considering f6, but... And this is also a move, just going for c2. I think I'll just play bishop e6. A solid move. And no need to do anything too special. I'll bring the knight back. And this also prevents white from castling, so it's actually a nice configuration. Queen defends the bishop, which defends the knight, which prevents white from castling. Okay, so h6. I really wouldn't mind if f-file opens. And if I get the chance, probably a move like knight d4 could be nice. Hitting the pawn, the bishop. Okay, 13 move game. Real quick, I'll analyze because this opening was kind of interesting. Knight d4. Oh! A new game started. Okay. I'll hopefully find time to analyze later. I mean, if people want, you can go to my Elite Chess profile and analyze on your own with the engine. So this game, we have a French. I've been playing a lot of Ortho Schnapp recently. Okay, I was going for a 2 knights attack. Knight f6 is a little bit offbeat. It's kind of like combining a French and Alekhine. So I'm debating here whether to like try and transpose into 2 knights attack or punish this move. Let me try and punish the move.
We'll play a tournament with your merch on the 26th of December. Plaza, wish me luck and
awesome.
keep up the great content. You are a great inspiration.
Flavio Corpa getting merch. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, best wishes. Appreciate that. Merch still is on sale through December 15th. We have a Black Friday coupon code.
Since there's a holiday sale, they have a checkers mode. Not sure how it works in terms of king promotion. Also wanting to know how promotion works in regular chess. Would getting extra pieces help make it easier? Quack love.
Welcome back, Ember. I don't know if I can actually address those questions, especially when it comes to checkers mode. But the chess up boards are also in stock and make for a good gift. We do have the chess up command. But the chess up boards do come with an extra queen, so that accounts for the majority of promotion cases. And when you're playing with the app, you can select under promote in the app as well. Opponent's moving very quickly here. Hitting the knight, also hitting this pawn still. I think this wins. This is win material. So takes, knight c4, queen e2. It looks good to me. It was my third game of this tournament, but longest game thus far. Only game to surpass 14 moves. Yeah, this is a calculation. Queen e2. So I hit the knight. The bishop will escape. And yeah, I'm basically up the exchange here. I don't have any Do merch or Da, but maybe at some point. I think in 2023, I'll very much consider adding new merch options, new designs. Okay, so here I'm up a full rook. Queen d2 was kind of a threat. Now I'm hitting the h-pawn. f5, bishop f3. Yeah, this is kind of a similar theme to the previous game. Like I win material early, and then it's just about playing normally. G3 actually just traps the queen. The funny queen trap. E5 cut out the one retreat that the queen had. And now queen c4, and I'll pick up the queen for free. I mean, black did have queen d2 to lose a bishop instead of a full queen. Okay. Pretty smooth game.
Love you, Eric.
I love you too. Yeah, generally, like when you play the French, you should almost always follow up with d5. Knight f6, as we saw, gets hit with e5, and it's still playable. It could have resembled more of an Alekhine. But anyway, yeah, it turned out to be a very good position very quickly. So that's 3 in a row. Trying to break into the top 1,000. Welcome back, M. Kozak. Hey, it's Pam. Says, I'm almost back at my peak rating. All because of my buddy Eric. I don't think I can take full credit. I mean, success and rating gain, it's generally made up of like hard work and persistence. Okay, so new opponent playing Vavilon. I'll play knight f6. Been playing d5 more lately. Maybe I'll play like some Nimzo. Haven't played a Nimzo in a while. This is known as the Leningrad variation. Okay, so this is kind of a new position for me. Like usually people play bishop h4. The first move that comes to mind is c5, just to pressure mainly d4 and c3. Some intention to play knight c6 next. Yeah, e3 is a move. Considering this, just not sure about knight e2. Like, if I want to take, this is my one chance to take and force white's pawns to double. I actually like that. It's a more positional approach. And now knight c6. And I think the plan is to go for some setup where most of my pawns go on dark squares. Because I have the light squared bishop. Yeah, very likely castle. And now I could start with e5, I could start with b6. But this is a very, very typical Nimzo structure. I think I'll start with b6. Although b6 could walk into d5.
Anything from Paul Keres' repertoire?
Maybe e5. Oh, Paul carries. I'll admit, I haven't studied his games like so closely to know his exact opening repertoire. Some of our openings maybe overlap. I'm sure he's played a Nimzo at some point. And this is like such a standard Nimzo Indian position, especially the structure with double C pawns, and also potential for some attack on the king side. So, like, even though white has more space in the center, it's arguably a bit easier for black to play. Now, it's still a question how to proceed with the plans here. I think I'll start with knight g6. And I don't want to trade off light squared bishops. But if I play bishop a6, there's queen a4. And bishop g4 is a wise move. I'm actually considering bishop b7. It puts the bishop on a like bad square basically, but it's just temporary. And the intention is to play queen g5, pressure the bishop and the knight, and then later either return to c8 or move up to a6. Okay, so there's a few questions to ask. First question is, what does white want to do? Because f4 is not really a threat. If I play this, it does give white kind of a free tempo. Don't want to allow that. And I'm realizing, like, maybe it does make sense to play bishop c8. Also maybe makes sense to improve the knight. Like, knight is now not doing so much. But it is preventing white from playing f4. Okay, I have a plan. It's a little bit embarrassing, but I'm just going to admit I went for the wrong idea. I don't think it's too costly. Okay, let's stay with this rook. My plan is to eventually play f5. But to achieve that takes a bit of work. I might play this move, actually. Like offer the queen trade and fully restrict f4. But I have to watch out for queen d7. I would be hitting the knight. Okay, so the game is taking a very quiet approach. Traded bishops and queens. But at least now there's some go-to plans I can go for. Like one plan's to maneuver the knight to a5, pressure the c-pawn. But it's kind of like a maze. Like to get to a5, I need to go from... I'm kind of working my way backwards, so it's probably this maneuver. So this path takes a lot of moves. I'm considering f5 is maybe too weakening, so maybe something like f6 to start with. Enabling this, but also enabling the knight to travel. a5 is a very good move, because I don't want to play a5 myself. I also don't want to allow white to play a5, but I might have to. Now, this isn't so simple. I'm also spending a lot of time. The king should probably like come and help out. And go for this. I mean, if necessary, I'll have enough defenders. I'm keeping the option open of playing b5 later. White's playing this very well. I'm playing quickly too. So, yeah, like the knight, maybe I'll start with this. Opponent pre-moving. I mean, white's definitely trying to pressure me on the clock. Okay, now the king has time to run. Question how white's knight gets to a4. How does my knight get to c7? e8. Is there really no way to get to c7? Like a weird maze. Okay, my king got to c7. I have g4. Okay, this is some opportunity. Like white just made some unnecessary weakness. And now, ooh, now I can start munching. This knight is hungry. Knight c3 will fork the rook and the e-pawn. I don't think the knight's getting trapped. Unless it is, which would be really sad. But at the very least, I have f5 and f6. Which I might have to go for. Oh, wow. I mean, I have this move. Okay, I just won 3 pawns. What a funny
Hello,
sequence.
Eric, you beautiful human smile.
Oh, hello, you beautiful black goose. And just start pushing. I could also defend. How to do this? Maybe it's worth defending first.
Hi, Eric. Happy holidays to you and yours and Chat2 and Toggy.
Oh, thank you, Vector. Oh, thank you, Beals'
Prime
chest.
sub anniversary.
Okay, let's play this move. It's still a very confusing position. Like, despite being up 3 pawns. I like my chances, though. There's a funny line, like h6, knight f4, king h7, g5 check. And then king h8, and it's so close to mate. Okay, I'm going to win this pawn. Maybe this first. Not necessary, though. I feel so cramped. I'm essentially sacking a pawn to breathe a little bit easier. Now, I was up 4 pawns, so sacking a pawn wasn't the biggest price to pay. Okay. I could start with g6. Considering some rook move. Oh, it's so close. Let's move back. Okay, at this point, it's mainly about endgame technique. It's weird that I'm up 3 pawns and I'm still like really passive. But I'm just trying to not lose b6. At some point, maybe I should go for b5. Okay, b5 achieved. Yeah, plenty of time here. King will come around. It's nice having a c-pawn. I'll probably just come around and win the white's last pawn. Thank you, Aruma. Subbing for the first time. Yeah, this is a pretty standard endgame to win. The strategy is to gradually advance the pawns. There's actually some funny potential checkmates. Maybe I'll try and go for. Like one potential mating idea is to play g5 with a rook on a3. So I'm going to try and set that up. Like if king f4, g5. Hey, g5 checkmate. I think I get 2 Rosen trophies for that. Because there's a pawn checkmate, but g5 is a special emote-worthy checkmate. 64 moves. That was my longest game thus far. Can't say I'm so proud of this game. I mean, we got like a typical Nimzo position. I think I mishandled things a little bit. Like maybe I should have gone for like some quicker f5. White played pretty well though to resist. And this plan was very nice. But then I think once white optimized the rooks, then h4 was a little bit self-destructive. And then, of course, taking with pawn. Should have taken with knight. Okay, back to tournament. Yeah, it's possible that I could have chosen a different route for the knight in the opening. Like knight a5 is sometimes a bit more strategic. Thanks to everyone for being here. Appreciate those who've subbed. Sorry if I didn't address everyone. We had Jay Robinson, 3K1, subbing with Prime for the first time. Playing Little Green Dragon. Berserking this game. And we have, maybe I play into a Caro Kann. Let's do it. Opponent wants a Caro Kann. Man, I haven't played this line in a while. I'll go for a slightly unusual line, knight h3. Idea knight f4.
Im Rosen angry goose, Im Rosen angry goose, Im Rosen angry goose.
Oh, don't be angry, even if you're a goose. Also, thank you, OG Marco. Yeah, this is a line I learned when I was a small child. Actually, I learned knight e2, knight f4, but okay, the lines kind of transpose. With the knight on f4, it creates some ideas of knight h5. I think I'll start with bishop d2. No, black, I don't think black is threatening e5. This e5, I think, creates too many issues with the king. Queenside castle. I think black is playing this very fine for the rating. e6 probably coming. There's an idea I want to set up. Just not sure how to set it up. Maybe I'll just start with queen a3. But that allows e5. So maybe I'll start with this move. Threatening f7. And my queen wants to be on a4. For a few reasons. One is just purely positional. Is to exert constant pressure. And it's a hard place for the queen to actually be attacked. Like knight b6 and knight c5 are not playable. Now I'm just realizing the second reason for queen a4 doesn't actually work right away. I have knight h5. Let's play this. I'll go ahead and say like the other reason is to prepare bishop a5, which I really want to play here, but then there's queen a6 pinning the bishop. But a different idea also doesn't work. I want to play this move, but then queen d4. Wow. Maybe I'll play this move. Just migrating to the west. Knights want to do damage against the black king, threatening the undefended bishop. I mean, eventually I do want to go for this, but it's frustrating. It doesn't work. Like the queen either needs to be defended, or I would need some knight c5. I want to play c4 too, but d4 still hangs. Very frustrating position. Thinking of crazy idea, rook h3. Like later possibility is a rook b3. That's like one of the side effects with h4. It wasn't the original plan. f5. So if I play knight c5, takes. f5 looks like a fine move. So I don't think knight c5 works. I mean, do I have this and then knight c5? Takes. I lose a piece in the end, though. Not the move I wanted to play. I think things are still under control. g5. Okay, might as well take. And this move doesn't work though. Or does it? Maybe it does. Allowing takes, but then bishop e3, guaranteeing to win a7. This might not work though. It gets crazy. And queen f2 is like really risky. It's so frustrating. Bishop a5, queen a6. Still, I'd like to set up some trick. Well, now, okay, now it actually looks feasible. Because a6 prevented queen a6. And there is queen f2. But this should be good for white. The opponent played a very good Caro Kann. Their bullet rating's a bit higher. Okay. Okay, now I just have to speed things up. If I take king b1, f4 coming. Here we go. Black's holding on to the pawn. Maybe this move. Going for a4. Okay, never mind. I return. h5 should be a goner. Rook g8 was playable. Oh, thank you, Ryzen Bazuru. Oh, it's so close to mate. I'm gonna win another pawn here. Oh no, my pawn. Okay. Not an easy game. Opponent definitely like played the opening much higher than their rating. But I guess that's one of the features of Caro Kann. Like it just requires a lot of simple moves. Like Black did all the things that you normally do in Caro Kann, and then I wasn't able to like easily crack the position. And I kept wanting to like do tricks, but couldn't quite make things work. Still got the job done. Moving up in the world. Top 550. Hello to Irene. Yeah, again, if you're just joining, we have less than 2 hours left of the Rapid Shield Arena. I don't think I'll get the shield. The winner of this tournament gets like a shield trophy until the next arena next month. I'm very far away from first place. We see the previous shield winner here. Doesn't look like they'll defend their shield. Okay. Oh, playing a stronger opponent. Stronger than the previous games. I'll hold off from berserking. I'll play a... Maybe I'll mix up the opening. Maybe I'll play like a classical Sicilian. Or white will mix up the opening. And now I have to remember what I play against a Rossolimo. I'll play e6. Generally my structure of choice. Yeah, this is some line that I haven't looked at in a long time. I'll admit I don't think I've ever like seriously studied this line in depth. I just know that this is a move, and then like either f6 or knight g6. knight g6 first. Sometimes black will go for e5.
Hi Eric, haven't been able to catch you live for a while. Good to see you again.
Oh, yeah, it's good to live. Thank you, Hono Kicks. And there's d5 here too, but d5 is sometimes a little bit committal. I'm trying to understand, like, if f6, e5, I think that's okay. It's so weird. Like, it seems very anti-positional. The idea is to undermine the, white's only bishop on the board. Generally, when white trades off a bishop early, then you want to put your pawns on the same color as their remaining bishop, just to restrict it. So we might see e5. We see c4. Okay, so that allows me to play e5, which I think I'm content with. Now there's a simple path to development. The center is staying closed. I'll play d6 first. Don't think there's a huge difference. Maybe bishop e7 first. I think going forward in the middle game, the plan is to eventually play f5 and then open up some possibilities for the bishops. But yeah, this is a very nice structure against the fiend-colored bishop. Now there's also an idea of knight f4 and bring the queen in, but white can easily diffuse things with the knight. So let's start slow. Slow and simple. I do have this move too, which reminds me of one of the previous games I played. My opponent did to me against this like almost exact same structure, but reverse. Is I create a situation where I'll either get in a4. Do I even want to play a4? Takes. I was going to say either I get in a4, white plays a4, and weakens b3. But maybe I play on this side now, like f5. And there's queenside potential, but I'm not going to commit. One strategy is to try and spread white thin, like peanut butter, playing on both sides of the board. Preparing my butter knife. Yeah, this is actually a pretty annoying pin for white to deal with. Knight h4. Now there's 3 attackers. There are 3 defenders. But very soon I'll damage the structure. I can choose whether to take with knight or bishop. Or maybe just build up more tension, like rook f7, queen f8. Oh yeah, I could turn on my heart rate monitor. Except, where's my watch? Why is my watch in my pocket? Okay, it's still alive. I think there's some viewers that have gotten so used to me having the heart rate monitor, it maybe feels weird when I don't have it. Okay, so yeah, I'm thinking queen e8. Queen e8, queen f7. And taking's possible, but just doesn't seem necessary. There's also some crazy like rook f4 or rook f7. I do like the prospect of the queen being behind the rook. Yeah, let me go for rook f7. There's cases also where I choose to double up the rooks. Thank you, punter face. Yeah, so white wants to play knight d2, adding a fourth defender to the pinned knight. I really want to go crazy here, but I should also stay controlled. Like, now is probably the time to take. There's also bishop g5, which I think, like, bishop g5, knight g5, bishop e2, knight f7. Win some material. I could also take first and then bishop g5. Rook e4, I take. There's so many ways to just win material. I like this option though. I'm cashing in. Darksford bishop has finally come to life. And white will either have to give away the rook or lose a pawn. Rook e4 is the only way to save the rook. Knight d2 instead. Okay, I'll take. And rook f7 still turned out to be a useful move because I can double up in a single move. Queen h5 also coming. Now there's 4 attackers. I mean, f3 is still the focal point. It's still pinned too. Like, rather than knight being pinned, it's a pawn being pinned. Okay. Yeah, up material. White's position is gradually crumbling. We might see this move. My knight is pinned to the queen. Ooh. I really want to go crazy here. So I can't take the rook. Or can I? No, I can't take the rook. Can I target h2? Like this and this? 94. Yeah, maybe this is the way to go. Like rook f6 and then just lift the rook over to h6. It still takes a bit of effort. Like white's trying to muddy the waters. I could take first. So what if I play this? And there's rook g2. But then I take on d2. Take. Have to focus here. Like, it's so close, but it's still a little bit confusing. I could also just take twice. Bishop takes and then... Oh, but then, yeah, it's weird. Okay. I'm looking for the easy put away. I'm not fully seeing it. Rook h6, knight take. Rook take, pawn take, pawn take. Take and then rook g6, how about? So I undouble the pawns. There are a lot of options to choose from. I like this option because it just aims to simplify, and it also diffuses pressure against g7. Also threatens mate in 1. So if after takes, I just take back. Knight takes, I take with a rook. I'll be threatening the bishop. And now it's important to note my queen's defended, so the knight's no longer actually pinned. So, like, this is already a possibility. Like, actually, if takes, I take here. Then we trade. Yeah, maybe I wouldn't take. Like, I probably want to leave queens on the board because white's king is far less safe than my king. So I should only trade queens if it leads to some easy to win position. Really tempted to play this move. I think I'll play this. Offering the queen trade. And the cool thing, white's defending. Where's my funny tactic? Maybe this move. Yeah, fun fact, if if queen takes queen, I would not have taken back. I would have played rook f1 checkmate. So one of the goals is to drive the queen away from covering f1. In this position, I'm threatening mate in 2 with queen f1, or even more beautiful, queen e4. Oh no, my queen, and then mate. And I don't see how white survives. Actually, maybe there's one move to try and survive. I only see one attempt for white here. Oh, I was thinking h3. That's a move. Is it? I mean, d5, there should be a lot of ways to win. I gotta watch my time. I like d5. Just remove the knight, because I want to go into f2. Okay. A pretty nice game. Yeah, this plan of f6 and e5, like, even though it disobeyed a lot of opening principles, like moving the f-pawn, not developing the pieces, I think it was justified, like, positionally. It just made things a lot easier to play, reduce white's attempt to open the center, and then, yeah, once I got an f5, things were pretty flowing, especially once I got the pin. Okay, gained some rating. Back to tournament. 420 with 21 points. Pretty nice. Oh, G-Cook would have finished the game with queen f1. Yeah, queen f1, maybe a slightly cooler finish. but would have been slightly less efficient. A lot of mating ideas towards the end there. So maybe it could be possible to finish in the top 100. Top 10 is 73 points, which probably not reaching. Not going to berserk. Just play. Maybe I'll try and mix up the openings more and get some variety. I'll play a Scandi. I'll play one of these. Okay, this is already known to be like not great for white. Because the trade just gives me a nice center. I'll play knight c6 and go for e5. Thank you, Gregle Beje. Gifting 2. I'm really tempted to play this. Wasn't there some like Magnus Carlsen, Bill Gates game that went something like this? Levy posted a video earlier. But like Queen h5, it's more relying on some hope chess, like hoping like goes wrong. I think Bishop h5 is just as suitable, not taking any risks. I do want to go for e5 and castling. Yeah, there were better ways to handle this opening. Like as white, like knight c3 is a playable move. Usually like bishop c4 and queen f3 would be the follow-up. Okay, so I'm considering e5 or castling. I think I'll play e5. I control the center. The only way to attack the queen is c4, but that's a bit committal, as it would weaken the d pawn, weaken the d4 square. So we might see d3, which is passive, but aims to complete development. I mean, my plan is to castle and probably go for some quick expansion. Get the bishop into play. Ooh, knight h2. So offering the trade, I have a choice here. I could take and then maybe go for knight d4. Hitting the c pawn. I could also just play this move. Leave white a little bit cramped. Both options look appealing. Probably not worth spending like too much time. I think I'll just go for this. Like bishop f3 is met with e4. There is a line though. Bishop f3, e4, rook e1, but then I castle. So I guess there's d3. I'm still ready to castle. Let me calculate. d3, castle, bishop f3, e4. Take, take. So eventually the bishop will land on d1. Like let's say take, take, take. I take. Probably slightly better for black. I mean, maybe better. After castling bishop f3, I'd play something like queen d6. And then prepare knight d4. I could play knight d4 immediately too. Let's start with castling. Making the game sharp. So now that the kings are on opposite sides, it is a matter of trying to accelerate the attack quicker than white. And that's easier to do when I have more center control and more space. Yeah, Magnus has played the Scandi a handful of times over the years. And I think his game against Bill Gates was maybe one of the most viewed chess videos on YouTube. He won in something like 12 moves. But he's played the Scandi. I mean, I featured like a brilliant game of his in a recent YouTube video where he played a really cool gambit line, completely dismantled a decently strong GM. Okay, here I'll go for f5. Creating pawn possibilities. White very quickly responds with f4. Debating between taking and bishop c5. My knight wants to travel to g3. Actually, bishop c5 looks nice. Because after takes king h1, I have e4, and then there's a pin. And just controlling more space. Yeah, Magnus has pretty much played every opening a handful of times. It's actually a really cool part about his style that he's so versatile in the openings. And he'll just like make things up and get away with it. Yeah, not only does this move pressure the pin pawn, but it restricts the minor pieces. It takes away the f3 square, which is like the main developing square for both the knight and the bishop. So even though I haven't won any material yet, there's a lot of just nice advantages in this position for black. I'm still dreaming of knight g3 checkmate. But to get there, it would be a long journey. I would need to have access to f5 or e2. b4 may be coming. So I'm attacking c2. And one idea with this move is if I play c3, it feels wrong taking the bishop, but I would win the d-pawn. So white defends. But c3 is still not a concern. I'll just centralize the rook. And now I'm threatening to take and then take, and the center would crumble for white. There's a funny line where I take on d3, bishop d3, and then knight e2. Capitalizing on the pin, but also threatening the rook and also threatening mate. So that would be a really cool example of a pork. Because it's a pin and a fork. And knight e2 unleashes the pin. It's like a discovered pin. So discovered pork. Oh, it's a disco pork. If you Google disco pork, you might find a funny thumbnail. Or you just might find some Mexican style pork dishes. So b4. Yeah, I want to keep the queen on the diagonal, but queen c3 is also really attractive. Like queen c3, queen e1. What if queen b6 though? Let's just play queen b6. Essentially the same situation. I'm actually really disappointed. Like, my thumbnail doesn't appear. Disco pork chess. There we go. Okay. Yeah, this is the thumbnail that I made over a year ago. Okay. So if I play this move or this move, let's play this move. Both files open. Bishop and queen are both targets. And this move is still an idea. And knight e2. I think I still get away with it. It's a disco pork. Discovered pork. It's a discovery because I unleashed the rook. It's a pin because the bishop's pinned. And it's a fork because I'm threatening this and this. And this would be a checkmate fork. A chork. Wow. Did white really just defend? I mean, I could take, but then take. Yeah, white's coming out alive. But I should win a pawn at the end of this. All that work for winning a pawn. Opponent's still taking time, though. Oh, there's a cool move, actually. If takes, I might sack my rook. I'll actually share it. So after takes, I'm looking at queen e3. Takes and then knight g3. Take. But there'd be, yeah, I'd give away the 2 rooks for the queen. At least in this line, I'm winning the rook and then winning the pawn. Opponent left the game. Opponent's back. Okay. Maybe some internet issues. Oh yeah, internet issues. I'm keeping the time advantage. Threatening the disco fork. Yeah, discovered fork. Ooh. That's a move. Can I play this move? There's a really beautiful ending I kind of want to try and achieve. I'll play this move. Hopefully this doesn't backfire. I'm taking some risk here, though. So the funny line is after takes, threatening the rook. So I'm threatening the rook. I'm threatening knight g3, but I have an even deadlier threat. Like if it's my move, I don't play this and I don't play this. Okay, white defended against it. Oh no, white didn't defend against it. Ah. Okay. Yeah, I was threatening mate in 2 with queen g1. I was kind of hoping this would play out. Position's already completely winning. But this would have been a cool finish. Like, it's pretty rare that you see smothered mates with the knight coming to g3 combined with a queen sack. Like, usually the knight comes to f2. But, okay, white allowed queen g1. g4 was maybe playable? I wasn't sure what I was going to do against g4, but maybe just bishop back and then this is hard to stop. Yeah, a lot of winning moves. Okay, that was a fun game. Wait, was I worse at some point? White's apparently doing okay after c4. But then yeah, things were not under control. So white's okay here after cd3. No, it's still better for black, but maybe it's not so simple. White had rook c5. Wow. Which almost equalizes. Anyway, okay, back to tournament. 1 hour, 23 minutes left. 329. Some fun tactics in that game. I'll still try and keep mixing up the openings. Also trying to chase 2600 rapid. I've been close recently, and then I get close, I lose a game, and fall back down. What's that song about, like falling down and then getting up again? Like vaguely remembering the beat. Something about, but I get up again. Chumbawamba. Oh yeah, Chumbawamba. I would play the music now, but it's probably copyrighted. Oh no, my opponent. Wow. So the first game of this stream, I played e4, and my opponent basically just forfeited. But this game, I didn't even have to play e4. I would say GG, but that was like a non-game. Okay, playing Velazano. Not berserking. Not berserking because I don't really have intentions to try and win the tournament. I just want to have time to explain the ideas behind my moves, try and provide some instructional commentary. So here we have a Budapest Gambit. It's one of my favorite opening/gambits. I've been playing this for many years now. This is one of the popular lines that White has against Budapest. The benefit here for black is I'm controlling this diagonal, and if White wants to castle, it takes some work to get rid of this bishop. I'll just castle here. I mean, the downside of this position for black is like the queenside development's a little bit awkward because this knight on c6 is usually on f6 and the other knight goes to c6. But yeah, there's workarounds. So one idea is bishop g4, knight d7. White's going for this move, which makes sense. I think I'll still play bishop g4. Some idea knight d4, and then I can develop the other knight to c6. So making use of the pin. I wouldn't mind if I get the bishop pair. Although if I do get the bishop pair, ooh, what is this move? I was going to say White would maybe have h3 in some lines. It's a free queen. Took me a moment to spot. I was calculating takes, bishop h3. It was one of those things like opponent gave me a present and I wasn't expecting a present. Like I didn't know to look under the Christmas tree. Always have to keep the eyes open. Okay. Yeah, I was even considering like knight c6. I reinforce the pin. Yeah, White should have taken. Maybe queen f2 is playable. Take. In this line, the bishop maintains its dominance. The wooden shield. Okay, that was a quick game. Top 200. Had a few quick games there. Oops. My longest game was the game against Vavilon. Nimzo game. Okay, playing Valent. I'll mix it up. I played E4 already, and I played D4 already, so let's play C4. Go for an English opening. There's usually some percentage of English players in chat. Players who play the English or maybe are from England. This aims to transpose into a Slav, like if I play D4. But I'll play E3. And okay, this is now a semi-Slav formation. Like maybe I'll play D4, but maybe I'll play B3. Mixing things up a little bit. Magnus Carlsen played a very similar opening against me recently, where he just uncorked G4, which I'm really tempted to do in this position. Like G4 takes and then Rook G1. Yeah, let me try and play like Magnus. The position we had, my pawn was still on. I think my pawn was on C7. My bishop was back. It was similar though. I'm pretty sure it's safe to say I've never played this before as white. But the idea is just to play G5 and get some early attack. Because I'm going to fianchetto counter the bishop on B2. H-pawn can follow. I wonder if I should have played Rook G1 first. Because the pawn is attacked here, and if I take, I still lose the pawn because knight has to move. I'm debating between Rook G1 and H4. I'll play H4. Because there's cases where the rook might just want to stay on H1. Now if takes, I'll take with the pawn. It's possible the bishop won't fianchetto if I have a pawn in C3. Okay, here, bishop B2 still looks nice. Wow. I don't think it worked, but black did have an idea of bishop G3. I wouldn't, maybe I would be able to take, I don't know. Man, this position is getting spicy. So queen C2. Yeah, I'll just play queen C2. At some point, I'll probably castle queenside. Ideally, I'd like to get in like H5, G6, bishop G3, bishop D3. Get the bishops combined with the pawn storm, combined with the rooks. That's a move. And this knight's not defended, so I don't have too many options here. I could take, or I could play bishop E2. Maybe take and then D4. Thank you, Crow Tweet. That's the first time chat. 100 bits. Says greetings from Croatia. Yeah, greetings from St. Louis. It's 4:46 p.m., so I think it's still a reasonably European-friendly time. Good to see some Europeans in chat. Also some non-Europeans. Welcome back, Z Nation. I think this move just gives me a pawn. Oh, did black have an alternative? I was more expecting takes, but maybe I could take back. Yeah, perhaps it was already difficult. But now this is really nice. Because bishop d3 will come. Oh, I am losing castling rights. Oh no, my castling rights. But the king is still very safe behind the wall of center pawns. Yeah, bishop d3.
Thanks for your stream, smiley face, smiley face.
Oh, thank you. Alla Fleche. Yeah, so the bishop combined with the rook. It's a nice combo. Still a question. I really just want to take and sack a queen, but that would be irresponsible. Maybe I could take en passant and then take. I could start with f4.
Hello from Berlin. Also already 1 year, also quack.
Hey, welcome back to Lumi. Happy 1 year. I've never been to Berlin, but that's one of the top places in Germany I've never been to before that I want to go to. I like f4. A simple, solid. I mean, there's constant pressure here. I probably could have just gone away with taking. But okay, here I'll still take. I also probably could have gone away with this. But then, yeah, that d5 wouldn't be necessary right away. So where's the win? Hey, rook h6. And g6 is one of the main targets here. I mean, I'm always considering d5. The problem is black takes, hits a queen, and I can't actually win the bishop, or win the rook with the bishop in a single move. Like, I want to combine tactics where I access h8, but this is a very simple, low-risk move. Also has some idea queen h1, the h-file battery. How fancy do I want to be? Let's be fancy. The time has arrived. I've won Connect 4. I might be threatening force mate. Yeah, it's basically a dream come true version of like what I wanted from this opening. Like when I played g4 on move 6, like everything, like all the ideas I wanted to achieve basically happened. With the pawn storm, now the bishop's opening up, combined with h-file. Oh no, my queen. Someone call an ambulance. Yeah, because the rook is on f7, it takes away the flight square from the king. So if takes, it would have been mate. Queen's not taken, but yeah, mate is coming pretty soon. Now the king is still very safe on d1. Okay, there's one possible spite check. Yeah, I wanted to do a similar like d5 idea in previous positions, but it wouldn't work in the same way. realizing, yeah, if king g8, I play rook h8. If king e8, then bishop g6 would be mate. Okay, nice game. A nice way of using an opening that I got crushed against recently, against Magnus, using it in a game where I'm playing the white side. So back to tournament. Top 150. Hour and 7 minutes left. I'm sure there were other attacking ideas that probably would have worked towards the end there. It was a very rich position. So I do want to keep like mixing up the openings. Maybe try and play things I haven't played before. Yeah, welcome to all the people who are new. I know a lot of people coming over from YouTube. New opponent playing Aristarchus. So what other first moves can I play? Let's play knight f3. Playing a reti. Now the thing about the reti, it can transpose into other openings. But there's certain lines that are unique. Like, for example, this is now essentially a reverse Benoni. And I mean, do I know what I'm doing here? I think e3 is a move. c5, b4. Yeah, this is a fun line. This is basically a reverse Blumenfeld. Where, okay, maybe I'm not even sacking a pawn. But maybe I am. If black wants to win a pawn, there's takes, takes, takes. And then I play a3. Ooh. Black won connect 4. I'm pretty sure there's a tactic here. Like a really funny tactical idea. Knight d4. And this is an opening trap I don't think I've ever had because I don't usually play this opening. But I'm winning material because the rook is trapped. Black probably best for black to get back the piece. But I'll still be up a pawn. I think UT gains. Wow, so I could take the rook. Wait, I have to be careful that black doesn't hit me with the same thing. But even if that happens, it should still be okay. Like, I could even take... Wait, I have to focus a little bit here. So takes queen d4, king e1, takes, 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 mate. That would be a funny line. If I play this, there's bishop g4, king c2. I mean, I'm up the exchange. Basically up a rook for knight and pawn. Bishop f5, I have d3. I mean, generally, knight f3 and c4 leads to way more positional games. But we still see that even in openings that have a more positional reputation, there's still craziness that can ensue. Yeah, now it's just about getting my queen back into play. Ensuring my king is not too naked. Oh, there's a funny trap here. We'll see if black falls for it. Oh no, my pawn. Oh, black's actually winning the pawn. Or no. Is black? Have this move? Wait, I have to be really careful. Because my queen's attacked. I'll start with queen a4. So, okay, the idea was after bishop b4, I'd play queen a4, winning some minor piece. Here I'm winning this knight. Yeah, black should have played queen d7 or bishop d7. Yeah, too many free presents. Wait, bishop a4. Not a big concern. Sometimes the first thing to address when you're in a winning position is what the opponent's ideas are. Because it can be so easy to get careless. But generally, when you're winning, it's just about preventing counterplay. And not blundering. Knight d5. Z Nation asking, do title players use chessable much? I'm probably not the best person to ask regarding that. If I had to guess, when we're speaking of title players, I assume like FM and higher. I'd imagine only a very small percentage do. Especially when you compare it to something like ChessBase, which probably every title player uses. I guess these days, you can substitute ChessBase for something like Lichess Study, but ChessBase is still probably the overwhelmingly like most used software among title players, and myself included. Like I think I've purchased one chessable course, but never actually really used it. Like I purchased it trying to download it, like download the PGN into ChessBase, and I realized that's not possible. So what to do? But I prefer using like ChessBase or Lichess Study when it comes to like reviewing, analyzing, and creating like opening repertoires. Have you used Chessify? I have. I think we still have the Chessify command. I haven't used Chessify so much. It's a very niche product, but if you're like I guess it does have its target audience, mainly for like strong title players that want to do more in-depth opening work. Gives you access to cloud engines, like very powerful cloud engines. Queen h4. I really wanted to take, but the problem is bishop takes. I still have to be a little bit careful here. A nice thing about this move, I'm hitting this and this, preparing this to hit h7. Thank you, Pitch Bucket. Oh, there's a question, which course, I assume which course I bought. I got one of Sam Shanklin's D4 repertoire courses. I got it very specifically because I knew one of my opponents in a recent tournament had like learned from that course. I wanted to see what he recommended against a certain line. And the course itself, I think it was like very thoroughly prepared. Like Sam in general does a great job, like being super thorough with opening prep. But I was hoping I'd be able to review it in ChessBase. Yeah, I still want to put this collab with Lafong on YouTube. Have to get around to editing that. It was a collaboration we did recently where we played against each other, but we played from bot accounts where we could use whatever engine help that we wanted. And it led to some really fascinating games. Okay. Got the job done there. That took a little bit of just patience towards the end. That was a cool trap though. Like black played what looks like a normal move to try and keep the pawns together, but it was just a bit too weakening. It's a common theme in some of these openings that this diagonal gets exploited. I'm just curious how many people in the past have fallen for this. If I had to guess, it's probably like 1500 to 2000. I assume this is a common trap. chess database. 872. But this position has been reached over 10,000 times. Oh wow, the best move is not even knight d4. Best move is knight e5. Bishop e7, queen a4. How does this line go? So takes. This is some engine line. It's a cool idea though to play c5 and c6 is now a threat. I mean, knight d4 just seemed like a clean way to win the pawn. Okay, a fun opening. Thank you, Munchie400. Happy 16 months. Yeah, it's a type of trap maybe you fall for once and then you learn your lesson. But those can be tricky positions to play for black. This is an opponent where I won that nice game with this early g4 move in the opening. So we play again. Iaguet asking for Ponziani. Maybe later. If I'm white, I'll play e4. I mean, I've really been trying to mix up the openings. Here we have an Alapin. Honestly, I don't have too many different options I can play against Alapin. I usually play d5. I kind of want to mix things up. Like g6 is a move. Knight f6 is a move. Maybe I'll play knight f6. Like the two main moves are knight f6 and d5. d6 and g6 are also lines. Queen a5 is even a line. I'm just trying to get something fresh. I have some vague memory of studying g6, bishop g7. Not sure if it was here or later. I know these lines can be tricky though. Let me play g6. I'm completely out of prep and like kind of a popular opening. But the idea is to play bishop g7, castle, d6, target the pawn. And taking looks normal. Taking maybe allows queen takes. Realizing I already have to be careful here. There's queen takes. Knight c7, e6, f6. Looks really ugly. I don't see anything wrong with it though. Concerning d6 as well. I feel like I've already gone wrong in some way. I just want to get out of the opening alive. I think bishop g7 is most flexible. We'll see what white is up to. I remember looking at similar lines like a long time ago, specifically this structure, when the bishop is aimed against these pawns. The eventual idea of d6, knight c6, bishop g4, it's a way of exerting a lot of pressure on white. I think I have to play knight b6 here. But knight b6 is nice because it saves a knight and hits a bishop. Bishop moves, I castle. And now d6 is the next intention. h3, okay. It seems like white has some experience playing h3 very quickly, but I'll continue adding pressure. mean, the goal is to induce taking, and after queen takes, there's 3 attackers against the IQP. So bishop f4. This defends e5? Yeah, white actually has a lot of ways to reinforce e5. There's a question how my bishop can play a role in the position. Of course, I have bishop f5. But maybe what I would consider is bishop f. I was thinking some combination bishop f5, knight a5. If I take, queen c7, rook e1. You take and trade queens. I'm also wondering about some idea like bishop f5 with the intention of bishop e4, just to remove the knight. Problem is white has very simple knight c3, but then maybe knight a5. I think I'll just start with bishop f5. I guess I also have to be aware white might just want to take. I mean, there's the idea of take bishop f5 and use the d3 square. But again, knight c3, knight b4. It's going to get sharp, I think, regardless. The first question is if I want to allow taking. I think it's okay to allow. Because after takes, then the bishop has more scope. And we both would have isolated pawns. So knight c3. Okay, so now I shouldn't be taking too much time here. But knight a5 looks like a fine option. This has some Grunfeld ideas to it. I think it's common in the Grunfeld to play a move like knight a5 and exploit the c4 square. So this knight's pinned. Some idea knight d5. Yeah, there's a lot of similarities with Grunfeld. Grunfeld's not an opening I play, but I'm aware of the principles of it, where you usually give white a big center and then you very much go for counterpunching. Like knight c4, queen c1. Okay, let's go for knight c4. Comes with tempo. Okay, what can be improved? Maybe the queen. Maybe just queen d7. Give the rook some options. Some idea queen f5. I didn't really want to release attention because that would give white the d file. Like I want to leave the pawn in d4 because it could be an eventual target. I'm not really scared of b3 here either. Okay, maybe I'm a bit more scared. So knight's defended. I do have queen f5. A very strategic game so far. Hitting the bishop, activating. So now I have 4 attackers. There's still 4 defenders. Expecting this or that. I could play rook d8. If b3 comes, I'm going to have to... Do I finally give in and take? Knight h4 is not a concern. Okay, let's play rook d8. Yeah, so b3, it would chase my knight away, but it still weakens c3 a bit. So it's a committal move if white wants to go for it. I'm also realizing maybe I should have considered it last move is this idea bishop h6. Just a different diagonal for the bishop. It probably wouldn't do much, but I should be aware of the resource. Another idea with rook d8 is to take, queen d3. Just trade queens. Yeah, very soon bishop h6 could become more relevant, because the rook is the only defender of the knight. This knight probably wants to return to c6. One move I haven't considered that maybe I should at least have on my radar is d5, just to completely close things down. And then the play would shift to the flanks. One problem could be queen b5. Queen b5, knight c6. Man, the tensions remain for so long. Like, ever since I played d6, so much tension. But it's a situation where I think when white takes, it favors me. Just as I say that, white does take. Now I guess we'll see. Okay, so we both have IQPs. It's a different IQP situation because we can't attack along the files.
2.25 babies.
Hey, that's is that a healthy number of babies? Welcome back, Evanism. Okay, bishop h6 forces rook c2, and then knight c6. Oh, it's so close. Maybe knight c6 first? There's rook e8 as well. At bishop h6, rook c2, rook e8. That win? Man, that's so close to winning. Let's play it. It's crazy if this is winning. It's kind of a tactic out of nowhere, but the fact that the rook is tied down to the knight, rook e hits a queen. Queen's tied down now to defending the rook. And there's really not too many options. Like knight e4, I just take it. Queen d3 is really the only option. Now I was thinking knight d5, but I really want to play rook e1, but knight e1. Yeah, maybe it's not quite winning. Like the intention was take, knight d5, but then after takes, knight f6, king f8, knight e8. Maybe even losing d6 in the end. It still looks good though. Like, how do I can't spend too much time either. Maybe I just take in d5. So this prevents me from playing knight d5, but it does save the pawn, because bishop d6 was kind of a threat. So if I take in rook c2, I think I'm winning a pawn. And there's knight c3. Looks very shaky for white though. I mean, knight c3 holds a2. Maybe I would play this. Knight c6, knight b4. That's turning into a blitz game. Thank you, base space. And close to a bullet game for me. But the position's nice. I think I got what I kind of wanted out of the middle game. Like, I haven't won material yet, but I'm very close to winning material. It's actually nice that this pawn is fixed on a dark square, just given the bishop situation. Don't think I need to take that. Might see rook e3. The knight really doesn't... Oh, the knight has d3. But I'm officially up a pawn. Ooh. Okay, so now it probably makes sense to take. Got my 2 horsies. There's f6. I guess rook b2 first. I just want to win more pawns. Like b3 and d4 are targets. Taking on d4 seems a little bit risky, but is there anything wrong with it? Rook c7, 92. I want to play rook c2, which would nearly force a rook trade. And this is a clear threat. This knight plays a really important role in defending c8. Rook a5, maybe just a6. But then bishop e3. So maybe I go for something like this, or f6. I like the prospect of f6, just chase the knight away. Really. Okay, all about simplifying and moving quickly and pushing pawns. Maybe making queens. Long game. Yeah, going for knight b3. The knights work together in like dominating the bishop, controlling a lot of dark squares. Ooh, but not f6. Let's play d4. I have 2 pass pawns. Oops. What did I do? Did not see the knight could move in an L shape. Okay, I'll learn from my past mistakes and not play a2. It's a good thing about being up a few pawns. When I lose a pawn, I'm still up pawns. Okay. That took work. All that work for 1 rating point. But yeah, instructive game. A very tense middle game. Got some nice Grunfeld type ideas. Improved the pieces. Took a while to win material. Yeah, this bishop h6 was nice. I'm actually curious if I had any better options here instead of d5. Engine likes d5. Engine actually says white's better. Wow. But yeah, I think it's easier to play for black. Bishop d6 is a hard move to find. Okay. Hey, top 100. 33 minutes left. Yeah, this is my resting heart rate. Not quite my sleeping heart rate. I think sleeping heart rate is more maybe in the 50s. Have I passed 100 this stream? I feel like I probably have at some point. So I did mention earlier, if I get the chance as white to play Ponziani, I'll try to go for it. There was a request from someone. Oh, 41 Matt requesting QGA. Yeah, hard to play Queen's Gambit accepted when you're white and you play e4. Maybe at some point. It's an opening I haven't played much. Okay, we have a Petrov. I don't know if my opponent is intending Stafford. I want to make things spicy though. Let's play a Boden Kieseritzky. Bishop c4. So if takes, I play knight c3. It's essentially a reverse Stafford Gambit. After takes, it's Stafford up a tempo. Okay, this will be interesting because black playing the best move, f6. This is the only move to objectively keep some edge for black. And g6 is the best move as well. I've studied a little bit of this at some point. Like the idea is to play f5 to exert pressure as quickly as possible. Again, Ben offering me some fried rice. I'm not too hungry right now, at least for rice. I'm more hungry for attacking my opponent. Yeah, the idea is to play f5 and mainly target g6. If I can get rid of the g pawn, then queen h5 could come. Wow. I don't think I've seen this move before. I'm wondering if I can take. And taking walks into d5. And there's a funny line, takes, queen h5, which should be great for white. It's actually force mate for white. But takes and then d5. Calculating takes, check, king e7. I don't think that really works. So I could play g3. I could play this move actually. And then after e4, play queen d4. Take and then take. Similar idea to that previous game I played. Exploiting the rook on the long diagonal. I mean, g3 might accomplish the same thing. But the nice thing about this move, it does pressure the pawn once more. Also considering queen d5. But queen d5 take and then queen e7. Okay. New position for me. I've never seen f5 before. But it looks nice. So I'm pretty sure this is like much better for white. At least in the line e4, queen d4. And there's 2 attackers against the pawn and 0 defenders. So at the very least, I should be winning the pawn back. Thank you, M1XH1. First time Prime sub. Okay, queen d4. There's actually a line There's a line that almost works for black. With like queen e7. After takes, rook g1. It's actually important that I'm pinning the bishop in the end. Because there's cases queen e7, king f2. There's no bishop c5. Oh, the queen is even blocking the bishop. Well, multiple reasons why the bishop can't develop to c5. I'm also realizing, like, a really savage idea is after it takes, I don't even need to take the rook immediately. I could just castle. And the rook is still trapped. And then I'm threatening rook e1, which looks really, really nice. I guess the one thing I'm allowing, if I do castle, is bishop c5. Rook e1, king f8, take d6, queen d4, rook g8. Now I'm up the exchange. So it's really a matter of deciding between castling and taking the rook immediately. I'm feeling castling though. So I think it's nicer to get the king safer and to get the rook in. I'm down a piece, but I'm guaranteed to win back material and probably more so on top of it. Yeah, one of these practical decisions. So black is currently up a knight and a pawn. But at the same time, black has nothing really developed except a few pawns. And yeah, this line, I could take first or rook e1 first. But the line with rook e1 looks pretty forcing. King f8, take d6. Queen goes back, hits a rook, rook g8, I take. This bishop really wants to join the party. The problem is my pawn's on f4, so the bishop, it's a little bit blocked out. And this could be another like very quick game, depending what happens over the next couple of moves. A question earlier from Emberg. In reverse Stafford, f6, bishop c3. Oh, you mean bc3. 95 takes. I don't think that generally works. Yeah, like generally, this tactic, like it almost works. I guess it doesn't matter which pawn we're to take. But if I were to go for queen h5 immediately and take, it looks like I'm winning the rook, but queen e7 would pin my queen. So if I wanted to make that tactic work, I have to throw in like bishop e3 or castling to ensure my king's not on the e-file or the e-file is blocked. But knight e5 is a very common tactical motif. It sometimes works. Like famously, this position after f6, and then knight e5 works. Okay, if I take the rook. Oh wow, there's queen c. No, queen c5. I just moved back. Okay, I might as well take.
Time flies.
Hey, it's Jimberwood. Stopping for 25 months. Yeah, welcome back. For everyone just joining, I've already been live for over 2 hours. That's the final 22 minutes of the Rapid Shield Arena. I don't think I'll be crossing 2600 this tournament. Maybe time for just 1 or 2 games after this one.
Flies time.
Ooh. That move I didn't quite acknowledge. I have to still be careful. I mean, I have rook d1. If I play rook f2, there's queen e1, which also still is probably okay. But then there's the line takes queen e4, I lose the bishop. So I'm leaning towards rook d1 here. Let's go for this.
So when you raided Chessweeb, Dennis organized a duck chess game between me and Ibishi for mod in his channel. Do you want to analyze the game and find out who won?
Oh. Yeah, feel free to whisper me a link. But, of course, it'll have to wait until after this tournament. That sounds cool. Oh, did Dennis do commentary on it? Sounds to be the case. Yeah, Chessweeb is one of the highest rated duck chess players now. Might see him soon. Maybe we'll do some like over the board duck chess content in real life. Yeah, this position is really not simple because queen c5 is maybe coming.
Please fine.
Flies fine. Yeah. How many different variations are there of time flies? Okay, I gotta focus here. Because this is now officially a threat. If I take, there's queen e4. So maybe just bishop d5. But bishop d5 allows queen e2. But is that really a problem? Also, I should calculate. Like bishop here takes rook e1. Doesn't look great. Yeah, just bishop d5. But bishop d5, okay, wait. Oh, losing some focus. So bishop d5, queen e2, bishop d2. Threatening rook e1. Yeah, let's just go for this. In the meantime, I also do want to capture the pawn. Oh, thank you, Lucid Chess Live. Yeah, it's funny. We're only 13 moves in. Like we've both been spending a lot of time in the opening. Okay, finally, maybe getting a queen trade, but this simplifies things. I'm considering rook e1. Also considering, no, taking doesn't quite work. Taking on c6 doesn't work. Yeah, let's take the queen, take the pawn. So, yeah, it's rook for knight and pawn. Rook wants to go here. Bishop wants to participate. Maybe I'll play bishop e3 first. I think the bishop is nicely placed on f2. Because there's cases rook e1, knight e7, then I have bishop h4. Go for the double up. Bishop h4 is a looming idea. think I'm overthinking things too much. I should just be patient. H4, H5. I'll play bishop F3. For the trade of bishops. Realizing if takes, I have the option of taking on E7. I still probably take back on D4. Ooh. It feels close to trapping the bishop now. Threatening king H3. Yeah, the bishop is nearly trapped. There is G5. I have to watch out for a few different moves here. I guess I'll play this move. I don't know why my king's on H3. I was trying to trap the bishop. I do have bishop G4. Yeah, it's all good. Comment to take the knight. Yeah, maybe I missed my chance. Can take the rook. I'm still interested in winning the bishop somehow. Or maybe just checkmating the king. Okay, it's close. Check. Play C4. Yeah, black is just paralyzed. Maybe I'll go for the funny breakthrough. It's not quite a breakthrough though. Still going for it. Hey, it's a breakthrough. Got two connected passers. No mercy. Okay, let me try and checkmate before black flags. Oh no, my checkmate. Okay. Interesting game. I'm pretty sure things were under control most of that game. It was a little bit tricky. F5. F5 is a mistake. And F3 only move. So yeah, the other ideas don't quite work. We followed Carlsen's the best move. Yeah, pretty clean game actually. Made a couple, maybe I made a couple blunders towards the end, but held on to the advantage. So that was a Boden Kieseritzky Gambit. And that was a fresh line I haven't really been aware of. We try and get in two more games, including this one.
Seeing your stream live is always an awesome surprise. Thank you, Eric.
Oh, thank you, Robin Spector. Okay, so finally got a Ponziani. I wonder if the person who asked for it earlier is still here. But yeah, black is playing a bit of a dubious line. Like bishop c5, it was an attempt to fight for the center, but it really just made d4 stronger because it gained time on the bishop. Okay, so developing happily. Not doing anything too special so far. I mean, h3 is a useful move in preventing bishop g4. Bishop e6, of course, would run into d5. Maybe I'll play queen d2. Like, I might want to castle queenside. Yeah, way more often in Ponziani, you castle kingside. But I think in this case, there's so much attacking potential on the king side. Oh, black's really tempting me. I mean, I think I'll just rely on intuition. Like take. I'm threatening this now. Also threatening this. Hey, thank you, Alex Bonzea. Shout out to Alex. And Planet Chess Club. Back-to-back raids. Do appreciate that. If you're just joining, I just sacked a piece for what should be a raging attack. This is one of the final games I'll play in the Rapid Shield Arena. It's an 8-hour long tournament. I joined about 6 hours late. Thank you, Phyla. Happy 30 months. I guess for everyone joining, yeah, we'll do a recap of the opening as my opponent thinks. It was Ponziani. Opponent, yeah, played an accurate move. I develop, control the center, castle queenside, and now, I mean, there's really not too many ways to defend here. There's only a handful of moves which deal with this threat. Like there's 97. Okay, rook e8 was not one of them. I mean, I'm considering knight g5 anyway. Like, do I need to take the knight? I mean, I'll take the knight because I can always repeat and then play knight g5. King e7, knight d5. There's too much fun here. I appreciate the dot. Simon Shampoo. And it's interesting that it said dot and not like point or period. Or nothing. I don't see force mate. I'm thinking this first. Maybe just this first. So f6 then knight d5. Oh, there's a nice mating idea. Expecting king d8, queen f6, knight e7, then knight g5. Threatening smothered mate. Oh, yes. Okay, that was a nice Ponziani win. Hope people enjoyed that one. Back to tournament. Yeah, it goes to show, like, after misplaying the opening a little bit, even starting with this bishop c5 move, things can get difficult for black very quickly. I've never gotten a shield. Very rarely do I play in like a full shield arena, but maybe I should make an effort. I mean, they have shield arenas for pretty much every type of chess, every variant too. Playing this opponent who I played. Oh, this is an opponent who just resigned before I even made a move. Okay. They're playing a slightly questionable opening. I want to go for e4. I'm having none of this. Bishop c2 maybe coming. Yeah, let's... I'm going to try and win this game quickly so I get in one more game. Position is still playable for white, but white's violated a lot of opening principles so far. Okay, I'm going to play this idea, knight e5. So this attacks and defends. Also eyes a d3 square. Yeah, this move. Some idea to play b5. Starting with b5. There's a line bishop e2, g5. Like almost trapping the knight. Okay, white wants me to take, so then I get mated. It's interesting, but okay, I can just castle, defend. I was hoping for some Greek gift scenario. Not going to happen, though. Yeah, I'll put the knight back. Queen e7. It's hard to develop with this structure. Like the bishop and knight are a bit restricted. Okay. Almost trapped the bishop there. Generally, in these situations, I don't go for a queen trade because I'm trying to win quickly. But if queens were traded, I open that file. I'm still trying to win quickly. Some potential sack on g3. If queen h4, I'll play queen f5. It's hard to stop queen f2. Yeah, no mercy here. I think that we get in one more game. Unless pairings... Yeah, pairings are still open. Okay, the goal's to... playing a decently good player. Higher rated player. I was going to say the goal is to win the game before the tournament ends. So that requires playing super, super aggressive chess. Or it requires my opponent just not showing up. Okay, can we get in one more game? Uno mas. Can I break the top 30? Okay. I mean, berserk. I'm still trying to play hyper aggressively. Never played this opponent before. They have 15 seconds to move. Okay, Caro, Kann. I'll play 2 knights attack. E6. E6 is a little bit dubious. Bishop f4. I don't think this game is going to end quickly, but I'm going for broke. H4 probably coming soon. I'm going all in. I want to play queen d3, knight f6, queen h7 mate. Oh, my bishop! Oops. Oh no. I was not expecting knight d5. What have I done? Oh, yeah, that's a better move. Let's take. If knight takes bishop, I would have been mating by force. In this line, it's getting weird. It takes back. I lose a bishop. Oh no, my bishop. Oh wow. So I have this move. What's happening here? Wait. Opponent left the game! But there's only 10 seconds left of the tournament, and 70 seconds left of them needing to come back before they forfeit. Oh no, my opponent. Okay, so tournament's officially over. So I should probably think about this position because it's... Oh, they're back. It's still really tricky. Yeah, I was thinking bishop c7. So there, takes. A very confusing position. Both queens are hanging. And if black takes, I take, then both minor pieces are hanging. f2 also not to mention it's a fork, but okay, the queen's hanging first. Oh no. I'm getting triple forks. And my bishop's hanging. Oh no, all my pieces. Someone call an ambulance. Yeah, the thing is, I'm playing like a good player who clearly is going to see my threat. So these cheapo tricks don't quite work in the same sense. I have this move. Wait a minute. I think it's okay. It would be really sad if black goes for a draw here. Black might be able to force repetition. And if I want to play for a win, I might have to make a very irresponsible decision. I should actually, yeah, I should be calculating how to actually play for a win. And to play for a win, I have to basically sack a piece. Maybe a couple pawns. Oh, there's actually a cool line. Maybe, where'd my queen come from? Yeah, there's a chance we repeat and I play queen g3. Maybe I should have considered playing knight f2. Wait, queen g3, knight f2, bishop d3. It's actually a cool line. h7's attacked. If takes, I take with rook or pawn, keep the bishop defended. Takes. Opponent left the game again. What is this? Okay, they have good internet. Yeah, I mean, the first several moves of this game, I was just playing... I was trying to play quickly, trying to win quickly, and now I'm in a spot where it's not so simple. I'm happy to see h6, though, because it allows me to save the bishop. And I don't mind sacking the piece in this fashion. Yeah, I was more scared of actually knight d5, queen e4, and then repeating, but yeah, maybe this line's also not so easy. If I play this, there's takes, bishop d3. Let's try it. Now knight f6, I just take. Wait, what? Okay. That had to be a mouse slip? But no mercy. What a weird finish to the game. Yeah, let's see. Wow, engine just says equal. And then, wait, I was better. Oh, I'm better after queen g3. Yeah, I was scared of knight f2, but... Actually, how does that work? Queen g3, knight f2? Ah, same idea as I was... Okay. Yeah, so in this line, I allowed knight d5, which apparently is better for black, but why is it better? I was going to take. Ah, black can safely take and then run. Not so easy to go into, though, as black. Anyway, that's a tournament. I gained a few rating points, had some fun games. if this goes on YouTube and you made it this far, let me know your favorite moment or favorite game. I played 16 games total. A few of these games were like non-games, but still had some fun moments.